Driving, no.
So you drink 1 liter and then you go driving.
1 liter, 1 liter.
Yeah, it helps with the driving, yeah?
Armenian, touristy, monastery, no problem, brah.
If I drink 1 liter, I die.
So yeah, we're going to be exploring Armenia over the next 5 days, taking a break here in the Caucasus region and seeing what this country has to offer. But so far, so good. This has been a great start from the moment we entered the taxi from the airport, or the Yandex, I should say, from the airport. We discovered the taxi driver was making Armenian bombs, which maybe worried us when we first heard that, but we were relieved to find out that it was his homemade vodka and red wine mix that he didn't hesitate to offer us during the journey from the airport. So it's the first time in my life that I've arrived at the hotel after having two homemade wines and vodka. And whilst he told us he drinks one liter of vodka a day and it doesn't affect his driving. So yeah, you can imagine the drive from the airport set the tone, and we arrived with high expectations for this little visited country. So yeah, join me on this Armenian adventure and let's see what this beautiful country has to offer. The Cascades were originally conceived in 1924 by Alexander Tamanyan. He had the vision of linking the lower parts of the city to the upper hills via a walkway / artwork, or art gallery rather. But actually it wasn't, the construction wasn't started until the 1970s with Jim Torosian, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and was never completed, partly due to the earthquake that devastated much of Armenia in the 80s, and partly due to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So yeah, the project was halted for many years, many decades in fact, and construction actually only finished in 2002. So almost at the top now of the Cascades, taking a breather. Probably wasn't a good idea after 2 glasses of wine and vodka in the taxi. But hopefully the view is going to be worth it. Actually, the Kardashians are from Armenia, probably the most famous Armenian family. Can't imagine Kim Kardashian walking up these stairs somehow. Maybe she did. Behind me you can see a 50-meter obelisk which was built in 1967 to commemorate 50 years since the October Revolution. So that's the revolution where the Bolsheviks overthrew the Russian government, and so began the Soviet Union. So down there we have the Cascades, which we walked up eventually, and what is a very pretty skyline of Yerevan. So here we have kajin, I think you say it. It's essentially lavash bread, which is bread made on the side of a tandoor oven. Very thin bread, stuffed with meat and vegetables. And the guys put on quite a show cutting it for us. So it looks delicious, let's give it. Actually made for shepherds, when their wives would stuff the bread with a parcel of meats and delicious vegetables ready for them to take to the mountains that day, so they could carry it like a little parcel, and they'd be sorted for a few days as they're tending to their goats and sheep. Good morning from sunny Yerevan. So it's Saturday morning, day 2 of Armenia. Looking not exactly well rested, but ready to rent a car and drive out across Armenia and see what we discover. So we're here at Cherent's Arch. It's the first stop that we have made on our road trip outside of Yerevan. So I think it's about 20-25 minutes outside of Yerevan. It's a viewpoint over Mount Ararat. I'll try and show you guys Mount Ararat. Let's see. We are lucky enough to have an amazingly sunny day and blue skies, so you can really see the snow cap of Mount Ararat over there in the distance. It's about 5,000 meters. And I would say it's a national symbol of pride in Armenia. It's on everything from beer to restaurant walls, brands, everything is Ararat. So you can see why it's a striking mountain rising out of those green valleys. So we just arrived here at Garni temple. It's the second stop on our road trip through Armenia. And yeah, it's quite unique. It's in the Greek-Roman style pagan temple, whereas most sites in Armenia are actually churches and monasteries. It was the first country to adopt Christianity, so I think a lot of the pagan religious sites were destroyed in the 4th century. But this one was built in the 1st century AD by the king Tirides I, and I believe it was dedicated to the sun god Mir, apparently. So yeah, that's Garni, and also you can see it's not just the temple, it's located in quite a nice valley here, which looks particularly nice on a summer's day like this. And just over here in the distance, hopefully you can see another site called Symphony of Stones. So yeah, very unique looking mountain here with the stones cascading down the mountain in quite a way. And generally, yeah, the valley here is green, lush. It's full summer right now. We're in the middle of June, so the sky is blue, and people are out here just enjoying the temple. A few too many people, if I'm honest. We actually paid to bring the drone in here, and that was around about an extra $15, I think, 50,000 Armenian. So yeah, I wonder if I really had to do that, because to be honest, I could have just flown the drone from the car park. But anyway, we paid now. So we've arrived here at Gehad Monastery. I think that's how you pronounce it. I recently found out that Gehad means spear in Armenian. I'm being harassed here by wasps, so apologies. It means spear in Armenian, and it's a reference to the Holy Lance that pierced the side of Christ, which was apparently kept here for a short time. So that's where it gets its name from. And let me try and show you a little bit more of it. So you can see here, it's unfortunately under construction right now, but yeah, it's set in the midst of these cliffs and valleys. Again, it's a beautiful summer's day here in Armenia, so it's perfect time to be here. It's a little warm, but nothing too crazy. And I think you can see up there on the hill that there are some crucifixes. set up in the hills there as well. So yeah, this is Gerhard Monastery, not so far away from the Garni temple that I visited just before this. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go in here with my shorts on. I certainly won't be able to see without my sunglasses off. So the people here are lighting votives as offerings, as is the tradition in Christianity. It's very smoky in here actually because there's so many candles burning. But it's a great smell. I love the smell of candles burning like this. It reminds me of high school when we had to go to church back in England. But yeah, it's a very old monastery, as you can see. I think it dates to the maybe the 4th century AD. I'm not quite sure, but it's a really nice atmospheric monastery. Well, not a bad way to end the second day of this road trip. Here in Dilijan, or somewhere quite close to Dilijan, in an Airbnb called Blackwood, I think it is. But yeah, we have cabins with our own jacuzzi. And you can't see it right now, but there's a mountain view, horses, and snow-capped mountains. Little cabins on sticks surrounding the beaches, so just what we needed after quite a long day of driving. And yeah, even the beer itself is called Dilijan. So yeah, not a bad end to day 2. So we just had breakfast and it started hailstoning and thundering lightning. The poor horses are just stuck in this thing, nowhere to go sadly. And we are stuck in the canteen having breakfast. Day 2 near Dilijan. So now I can see why it's so green with the rain in Muscat down here. I'm hoping it eases up and we can get out later on. Wow, lightning. So thankfully the rain stopped and we're here now in Old Dilijan, and this is Sarambayan Street behind me. You can see the stone houses with the balconies and the slate streets. So it's probably one of the most famous streets in Dilijan. It's representative more of, you know, the Armenia that you would have found maybe a few decades ago or 100 years ago. It's very different from the rest of Dilijan, but it's nice to stroll around, nice cafes here. And it's set in the Green Mountains behind, which are quite misty at the moment after the rain we had this morning. So yeah, I can see why they call it Little Switzerland. It's got that feel to it, that vibe to it. Green forest, pines, misty mountains, and yeah, overall a very nice town to stroll around, have a coffee, soak in the sights of Armenia. So this is the town proper of Dilijan, the main street here. There's a bunch of cafes, pizza restaurant, wine, old winery, still set in the valley, so you can sit in many of the cafes here and have a coffee overlooking the valley and the green trees and mountains. Maybe not quite as oldie worldy as Sarambayan Street, but nevertheless quite a nice little town. So we're here at Savanavank Monastery. So this is the monastery above Lake Savan in Armenia. It's dated from, I think, the 9th century. It's also known as the Black Stone Monastery. As you can see, it's made of this volcanic black stone. It's very cold actually. It's quite windy up here, so if you do come, definitely bring a sweater or a coat. It's summer right now, so we were expecting it to be quite warm, but it's actually pretty cool. And yeah, it had a reputation as a quite harsh monastery. There was no meat, no wine. These monks, they like to suffer apparently. And yeah, this monastery also hosted a famous mathematician called Magorov for a month. So I don't know if he was here studying probability theory, but for the nerds out there, it's an interesting fact that he was here for a month apparently with Pavel Alexandrov while they toured Armenia, and I don't know, maybe he got some peace and quiet working on his theories of probability, staying in this monastery up above the beautiful Lake Savan. So it's actually now a peninsula, but it used to be an island apparently. So they drained it in the Soviet era by 20 or 30 meters, I believe, and at that point obviously it became a peninsula. So yeah, that's the Savanavank Monastery above beautiful Lake Savan.
Ab incursu et demonio meridianum. Susceptor meus est tu, et refugium meum Deus meus, sperabo in susceptor meus est tu.
Fried mushrooms from the mountains around Dilijan, dolma, grape leaves wrapping around beef, actually lamb in this case, sorry, this is a terrible commentary, and harissa, which is, I thought it was a Moroccan dish, but apparently they do that here as well in Armenia. Maybe less spicy in this one. And Areni wine. The old winery in Dilijan. So this is the Heg Hartsin Monastery, not so far from Dilijan. Yeah, another nice monastery in the hills of Armenia. This one's 3 different chapels together, so I think there was Saint Stephanos, Avatsin, and another I'm forgetting the name of. But yeah, it's set in the beautiful hills again, lush trees, green, very nice. and apparently Heg Hartsin roughly translates to Church of the Soaring Eagle. And we just witnessed a mass here, an Orthodox Christian mass. What's going on? And we're in there with women with white veils and praying. This is the gum market in Yerevan, so this is more of a local market, I would say, not so much a tourist market. But apparently you can get a lot of free samples here, so it's a good place to try, you know, the dried apricots in syrup that they do here, and lots of different fruits, figs, spices and things like that. So we're just going to have a little walk around now and see what they have to offer, really. So there's people selling pomegranate juice, trays and trays. Wow. Thank you very much. Спасибо.
А вот это, идите сюда, это помидоры.
Good. What is it? Strawberry. Very nice. So here you can have lots of samples. These are apricots, I think, with walnuts and syrup. And yeah, rows and rows of dried fruit and nuts. Extremely colourful. And people are willing to give free samples, so the best part of all. So we're in the Ararat Tavern, about to try some traditional Armenian foods. And as you can hear behind me, we have some guys playing traditional Armenian instruments and singing. I have no idea what they're saying, but singing something or other. And here we have the dish called kashlama. It's beef cuts, vegetables fried, some nice breads, of course some Armenian wine. So we're here now in Korvarep, Mount Ararat sitting behind it on a very clear evening. Actually we're here around 6 p.m. and all the tourists seem to have vanished, which is great. We came here earlier and it was very busy, very touristy, but at this time it's very quiet and there's a few annoying flies around, but not many people. So yeah, this is Korvarep, which means deep pit apparently in Armenian, because Gregory the Illuminator, who's often credited with bringing Christianity to Armenia, he was imprisoned here. So let me just turn the camera and show you guys a little bit closer. So that's Korvarep, and that's Mount Ararat in the distance there. So yeah, Gregory was credited with bringing Christianity to Armenia, and he has quite an interesting story actually. He was raised in Cappadocia in what is now modern-day Turkey, just across from Mount Ararat. And at the time, Turkey was a Christian stronghold. Gregory's father killed a king in Armenia, and for that his whole family was killed. And luckily for Gregory, a nurse took pity on him and raised him in Cappadocia. And that's where he became Christian, because Turkey was Turkey was a Christian stronghold at the time. So he came back to Armenia eventually and brought Christianity with him. But the king in the 4th century, King Tiridates, he was a Zoroastrian king, like the Persians, and he demanded that Gregory bow down to a Zoroastrian deity. he refused to do so, and for that he was thrown in a pit here in Korvarap. So inside there's a deep pit, which I'll show you guys in the video. But he spent 13 years of his life there until this king went mad, they say, and his sister petitioned him to let Gregory free, believing Gregory would be the solution to this madness. And that's when Gregory was set free from the pit and spread Christianity across Armenia, making it one of the first, if not the first, modern day Christian nations. So this is the pit where apparently Gregory was imprisoned. I can't see anything like that. It's a very tight squeeze. Not sure I'm going to be able to do this with the camera, but let's give it a go. You can see there's a bit of a stairway to get down. Trying to do this without killing myself. So yeah, 13 years he would have been down here in this humble abode. And people have left offerings and money. So yeah, just imagine 13 years down here in the Armenian winter as well. They're not warm winters, it's a cold. This is just, I'm in the farthest corner just to show you the size. They're not big. So I'm here at Yerevan Monastery. It's in the Armenia wine district of Armenia, where all the good wines that you've probably tried during this trip will be sourced from, or most of them. It's quite a striking monastery. It's set amongst these big red sandstone-like cliffs. So I'd say that's probably the most unique thing about this monastery in a country full of monasteries. I think it dates from the 13th century. It was designed by an architect called Momik, or Prince Orbelian, I think his name was. But yeah, aside from all that, it's just quite dramatic in this valley. Let me see if I can flip and show you guys the valley. So you have these two sort of chapels. The main chapel here has this very ornate wooden door, as is typical in Armenia, with lots of designs and iconography. I think on the bottom tier it's the Virgin Mary and the two cherubs, and then Jesus and Peter and Paul to either side with a circular rotunda on top. And yeah, it's set in this very dramatic valley. As you drive up to this monastery, you cut through the cliffs and you'll see Yerevan emerge. And also it has here this pit, which I'm probably not going to go down. It's even deeper than the one at Korvarap. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see just how deep it is, but it is really deep. Not quite sure what's down there, but yeah, this is probably one of the most striking monasteries I've seen in Armenia. And also it's very close to the Armenia winery, so you can go and have some wine tasting when you're finished.
Ab incursu et demonio meridianum. susceptor meus est tu, et refugium meum Deus meus,
restaurant next to the Armenia winery, so looking forward to trying some wines. But first of all, we're going to have lunch, and we have lamb kashlama, which is basically lamb and vegetables roasted. Of course, more dolma, pickles. And it's all set in this very tranquil courtyard, just next to the Armenia winery. So here under the restaurant, the Armenia restaurant, they have the wine cellar and quite a selection.
This is Karas.
You have the wine inside the...
This wine is in Karas. Young wine is here. This oak barrel is 7 years old.
So you have them here first and then move the young wine here and then move.
1 year, 2 years in metallic barrel. Is this oak barrel. This dry wine. And this semi-sweet wine, grapes, rosé wine, and
Crystal white.
fruit wine.